Yes, please.
Okay, so hi. So hey everyone. Can't see any of you, which is sad, but I hope you can see me and you can hear me. Okay, so I'm gonna talk. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for inviting me about this for the session. And I'm sure all of you are curious to know about entrepreneurship and etc. And so that's why you're here. So before I start, I just want to ask you guys a small question. I think a lot of everyone these days is like very interested in entrepreneurship and innovation and business. Everyone's just like trying to go into that stream. So maybe I want to just ask you guys here if any of you have thought of being an entrepreneur. Anyone over here wants to be one, is going to be one, doesn't want to work for a corporate company, want to make their own life. Anyone? It's okay, guys. It's not a question. It's not a question. You can just go ahead and say it. Uh, yeah, you can unmute yourselves and talk if you. I mean, if you want, that's okay.
Yes, I've been thinking about it.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, guys, it's an online class, so please don't be scared to unmute and talk. You can always talk. So, anyway, so that's why I wanted to just talk to you guys more about this topic. So, I'm very sorry about my light. Just 1 second. Okay. I hope you guys can see me clearly. Okay. So now the thing is, a lot of you have been are very interested in this, and it's not just college students. Everyone around us, people my age, people who are younger than me, everyone talks about having their own business, and I think it's a very nice concept. Having your own. I think everybody wants to do that, right? Having their own business, something which they can manage, something they're passionate about, and something which the world would enjoy, and they would have fun doing it. That's the whole point, right? Having fun doing something you like and something you enjoy, and not being worried about whether you're liking it or whether you will pursue it in the long run. Just do something you enjoy. So I'm going to be talking a bit about my business, and in the past I've been giving talks about my business, about how I've started it and how I've grown it, and my origin story and stuff. But today I'm not going to do that. Today I'm going to talk about my business, but in a more business and economic sense of view, a whole market research and an economics point of view, which I think many engineering students don't get a whole grasp of, because in engineering colleges we're taught more technical aspects of of like concepts instead of actual marketing and economics and product analysis. We're not really taught much of that, so it's kind of something which you learn by yourself along the way. But I want to talk more of that in that aspect. Now, before I start, I just want to say that society in general places a lot of pressure on young people. I think all of us know that we're always asked, what do you want to do? What do you want to become when you grow up? What's your plan? There's always a question hanging around ourselves. And then even when you're in first year, second year college, by the time you just touch second year, what do you want to do after college? You don't even have that plan, and you ask what exactly you want to do. And this is for everybody, not just one person. Everyone faces this problem. But I feel like, last time I did give a talk called Do What You Have to Do to Become What You Want. Why I said that was because as much as some people do enjoy engineering, some people don't. Some people come to engineering colleges, not just engineering, lawyer, medicine, doctor, nursing colleges, etc. These colleges might not. I mean, these are going into one stream directly, right? Engineering means you have to go into an engineering job, or medicine means you have to go into a doctor's job, right? I think everybody has a cloud of judgment that if you do one thing, you have to go into that stream. But I just want to say that, the courses you do actually help you pick up skills which can help you in the long run. Take SSN, most of you from SSN. Think about it. You're picking up skills like maths, physics, coding, differentiation. In your respective streams, you're learning about, suppose biomedical, you're learning about hospitals, you're learning about waste systems, medical electronics. Just different subjects are being given to you, and you're learning all these subjects in college. And these skills really help you in the long run. It's not like you're going to, even if you don't go into that stream, it's not like you're going to be, it's not like a waste, it's always a good thing to add to your resume. And I say this from experience, because when I joined college too, I did not want to do computer science. I mean, I was so shocked that, why am I going into computer science? I don't want to do it, because in 12th standard, I took science and economics. So I was just so confused as to why I'm doing CS, because at that point of time I had no idea what I want to do in life, and I was so confused. And I said, okay, let me just try to see what would help me. And my mom actually was the one who said, why don't you go apply to SSN, because my sister also was in SSN. So that's how I ended up in SSN. And in the beginning, I was so upset. I was like, I don't even like CS. What am I going to do? How will I even pick up all these concepts? I mean, this makes no sense. But along the way, I realized that being here will actually help me get where I want to. Even if I do a bachelor's in CS, it doesn't mean I have to go into a software development job or doing something which I know I wouldn't enjoy. But I did learn how to code, right? I know how to code. I know basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript. All these course things which are taught in my coursework and in my 4 years of college, and I just graduated last month. All these 4 years have given me a collective experience as to what I know and what I can progress with. So keeping that in mind, I just want to say that if some people, oh, so sorry, someone wants to talk? Go ahead. You can always stop me if you want. But okay. So I just let me know. You can raise your hands and you can talk. Anyways, so coming to the point, as what I want to say, some people do enjoy what they're studying. Some people don't. And I just want to tell you guys not to be demotivated. Even if you don't like your course, please don't be demotivated about the fact that you can't do anything from here. You're all still so young, and you can always build what you want to do if you take it into account right now as to what you want to do in the future. You're always able to get to a point, even if you're not there right now. I hope that makes sense. And coming to the point, so right now, before I start the talk, I just want to say that I'm going to be talking about my market analysis, my demand and supply, the product benefits and satisfaction, the pricing point, consumers, the age range, marketing, sales, sustainability, and innovation. So I want to take it through these. I want to take you guys through these points and talk about my business and correlate this with these points and how you can also do the same if you are planning to become an entrepreneur or if you just want an understanding of how the market works and what points you need to take into account if you want to have a successful business. So now, before I start, does anyone have an entrepreneurship idea and they've been wanting to start it for a long time now? Raise your hands if you guys have. It's okay if you don't want to talk. Okay, so I see a lot of you raising your hands. Okay. So yeah, so it's very cool because you're all still in college and having an entrepreneurship idea is very important. Having something you have in mind, something which is unique to you is very important. But I just want to say one more thing, that as much as it is important to have an entrepreneurship idea, you have to make sure it is unique to yourself and you have to make sure you have clarity. So a lot of these startup ideas, they are so good and they're always thought of very unique ideas which kids have and people who are around 25 to 28 have, but sometimes they lack clarity. And I feel like clarity and vision is a very, very important thing. And so let's start. So take your product, okay? Suppose I'm selling slime. I think all of you, before I start the whole pricing point of my business, let me just tell you what slime is. I'm actually in my slime warehouse in my office right now. And behind me is the warehouse with the racks and the slimes which we sell. So we kind of just moved into this warehouse around a month ago. So it's not fully set up, but yeah, this is our office and our office is outside. This is the warehouse and I'm sitting here. So now let me talk about my product. This is the product which I sell and it's called slime. And it's not what you get in the stores. It's very unique because it's not the barrel of slimes you see in the stores. You can stretch the slime and you can play with it. And the best part about it is that it actually smells like the product. Suppose I'm selling a blueberry cheesecake slime, it'll actually smell like blueberry cheesecake. And Coca-Cola will actually smell like Cola and every dessert scent we have. And why we use it is because it's a very nice product stress buster. We actually have two uses for this product. One is the kids can use this as a toy. It's a really nice toy to just play with and stretch and squeeze and make those bubble pops. And secondly, it's a great product for college kids and for adults because this is really good for stress buster purposes, like if you're studying or if you're having a really bad day or something. It's a really nice thing to just great for stress relief and everything, like a fidget toy, but this is which you can actually poke and press. Similarly, for therapy sessions, our therapists actually recommend you play with slime, or play with any stress relieving ball, which can help you fidget while you're in therapy session. And lastly, older people who are around 6, 70, 80, when they have arthritis and they have problems with their hand, because their hand movements start to constrict, then they start to use our slimes. And it's really helpful to make their hand movement more, you can actually go ahead and keep practicing so that they don't lose control of their hand. So that's our uses, which I have just enumerated. And so now talking about the market analysis. Now, why I started selling slime was because you've seen, like I just mentioned, what do you get in the stores? You get the barrel of slime, which are kind of they're really smelly and they don't you can't play with properly and kind of stinky. So after doing a market analysis of what's there, I've been looking around and seeing that in India you do not get good quality slimes. But in the US, you get very, very good ones. Like the ones in the US are really good quality, non-toxic, and they smell really good. But it's not available in India. So this is how I actually started out. In the beginning, I had no idea that there was no slimes in India. So I was trying to buy myself one actually for as a matter of fact in 2017 and 2018 actually. And this is when I just left school. So I was kind of like the buffer period between college and school. And I wanted to get myself some slime. And then I see that in the US, they're selling this really nice, good-looking aesthetic slime, and I wanted to get it, and I see it's $80 to ship it. Like, okay, I'm not spending that much. Let me make it myself. But this is the thing, it's not easy to make it in India because the products in India don't suit this compound. And so that's why I sat and tried to experiment over and over again. I sat for 3 months trying to experiment with this product. And after 3-4 months of experimentation, I finally got something which could be used and played with and can actually be sold. And the funny part is I was never going to sell it. I just wanted to make it for myself. And that's when my friends saw it. And this was back then, and I just made a basic glue material. Now, if you're all wondering what slime is, for those of you who don't, it's basically glue, which is mixed with borax. And so you can do this. So basically, this was not how it was when I was started out. It was just a white gluey substance, and there was no scent, no stretch. It was just a very basic product. And even that, my friends had asked me, hey, can you start selling that? Because I don't even want to play with it. So that's how the business idea came into my mind. I was never going to, but then seeing that my product had a demand, I was like, you know what? If I'm selling something which people can't get, why not make it a business? That's how I started out. And I was just one person at the time. And I was making it in the room of my house. And my sister would go drive me around and I would go give it to people's houses on their doorsteps and collect money from them on their when they went to their house. So, that's how I started out. And when I was doing the market analysis, I realized that one, you can't get this product in India. So that's a big benefit for me. And secondly, people who are doing it, it's not good quality. It's not something which will last long. The shelf life is very bad. The shelf life of some slimes that you get in the stores and stuff are maximum 1 to 2 days, and they stink, which is terrible. What are you getting out of it then? So what I realized I had to do was to make a product which, one, smelled well, smelled good. It wasn't toxic because kids are playing with it after all. Third, it did not harm anyone, and fourth, it had a long shelf life. It didn't dry up in one day. And that's when I started to experiment more and more, and I finally got something which actually could be used in the long run for 7 to 8 months if you take proper care. So that's what I first did, which is very important for any entrepreneur, is that you have to see if your product will make it in the long run. Because it's very easy to start something. Let me tell you, if you go open Instagram, I'm sure all of you would have come across the hundreds and thousands of people selling small businesses and small business stuff. But ask yourself how many people actually sustain that. It's very fancy and sexy to start your own business and 1-2 months go crazy with the marketing, but it's not. It's very glamorous, okay, I must say. It's very glamorous when you look at Instagram, but the actual work is so tiring and it's so much which is required to do this. So a lot of people start out and then they just burn out. They're not able to sustain their operations. That's why I want to say that if you have an idea, please look into how you can sustain it, and more of the glamorous part of it, look into the actual side as to how you can continue your operations, how to actually get a whole system of operations, because everybody wants to start big. You need to start small, okay? At one point, you have to start small because, that's how you go into a bigger operation level. When I started, like I mentioned, I was in one room of my house and I had my sister taking me as a driver around Chennai. And I was so thankful because I had someone to help me then. And it was very nice because, I had a support system. My mom, my dad will help me, and my mom and dad still help me right now. My father takes care of all the logistics in the business, and my mother helps me a lot with she's an economics professor. So she's helps me a lot with how to do your costing, my profit and loss, my revenue statement. All that's done with my mom. I mean, she doesn't do it. She teaches me how to do it so I can do it myself and pick up these skills. So that's how I go along with the business, how I went along with it. Now, coming to the demand and supply. Now, the demand of this product, now, all of you, I think the first question which people ask me is, who's going to buy it? I mean, is there people actually buying it still? I mean, what? Well, so believe it or not, there's a huge demand for slime right now. And since my product has a very good beneficial idea, it can help it's been curated such that it doesn't dry up and it smells good and the scents are great. Everything has just been curated to have a perfect slime box. So after a lot of effort, I mean, like I mentioned, 3 months of experimentation and 1 whole year of researching as to how to get something like this. It took a while, but we did finally arrive to that situation, at that level where we could sell our slimes, and we had a demand for it. And I'm going to be talking about demand and supply along with marketing. The marketing is a very important aspect because how else do consumers know what you're selling, right? So most of our marketing is done on Instagram, and I also use Facebook and LinkedIn for the older generation as well. And so a lot of that depends upon the company's aesthetic appeal and how you market it and how you broadcast it to your viewers. So that's a very important point. So marketing is kind of handy with the demand. Maybe some companies have it different, but for my company, I know that my demand goes up when the marketing is like top notch. When the marketing is done well, when you have information about what you're selling, it really helps with your marketing. With your demand and demand as well. This kind of product is something which people like when they see it. They get really excited and they want it for themselves. Right? It's kind of like a last-minute purchase where they get so excited and they just want their hands on what we're selling. So when I started out in 2018, I didn't really have I didn't sell every day because I was in college. I was in second year college and I had no help at home and stuff. And so I had only like one restock a month and that's it. So that was a big problem because we weren't able to keep our consumers coming back. I was not consistent with my marketing. I was not consistent with my posting. I just come one day on Instagram and say, hey, restock guys, 1 week restock, and then that's it. So people were very upset. They were like, you're selling out, and so when do we get our products? And then you don't come for 1 month. So what's the point? I didn't really look very trustworthy. So that's a very important point I want to establish, that if you want to have a business, you have to be consistent with your operations. You cannot be like wandering around, dawdling around. You have to make sure that you supply your customers their orders and then do your miscellaneous things. So I can tell you right now, when I was okay, not when I was, I mean, that was just 2 years ago. It just feels like so long ago. But 20, when I was 20, not 21 now, so 19, yes. So when I was 19, I had, so people in college were calling me for this, friends go hang out and invite you. They have like parties and this and that. But I can tell you right now that I had missed a majority amount of parties and meetups, and not like I had many, but I had like the whole hangouts and stuff. I missed that part of life because I was so busy with the business, trying to establish the market operations. And right now also, when college was on COVID, I mean, last year when we were all online, even then also I had to make sure that my operation was sustainable because right now COVID and everything wasn't able to ship. So only now after COVID was I able to open up and, get a new office for myself and set up my own warehouse space. But that took so much time in itself. And again, I couldn't go meet up people. And that's not priority right now. For me, the priority was the business. So a lot of things which people would do my age, I would miss out on. But at the same time, it's very important to note that that's my choice. And I also know that this was giving me more satisfaction. And I knew that this was going to help me in the long run. So that's why I gave my focus more onto it. And I'm not saying that opening a business means that you've got to go 24/7, work on it, full-time effort. It is full-time effort. Let me not sugarcoat it. But at the same time, you have to prioritize. It's very important, prioritizing. Because even when I was in college, I was part of LOP, Lights Out Plays, and I was part of the drama club, and I was doing this, and I was doing stuff for the college, and I was also part of this one, the extracurricular club, the ones which will ask, basically you can go and environmental cleanups and beach cleanups and stuff like that. So I was doing volunteering work in the meantime, and I was also doing drama, and I was doing college work. So it's not like it's impossible. You just need to prioritize. I think one of the biggest questions which freshers asks me, or anyone who's in the first year right now, they all ask me, "Hey, Avi, so how are you part of so many clubs? I can't really focus on my course, and it's so many exams every day is cats, this, that. How are you doing all this?" And it's one very simple question is that you need to know what excites you and what you can prioritize. If you finish your work at one time and you can go and do your club work, and you know that in one day you're getting this much done, it really helps. And sure enough, I mean, I'm not saying I'm some perfect child. I also was super uh, like I would watch Netflix a lot of times, and I mean, I would go on Instagram. I mean, it's not like I just want to tell you guys that people think that it's so important to prioritize. That means you have to go do your studying and then you do your work, and that's how you become. That's how you work towards a better future. But it's not like that. You just need to understand that there's always you can always do something if you have your prioritizing benefits, and you know that you can what's giving you what you're doing is giving you something out of it, then it's very helpful. Now I know I'm kind of straying off topic, but I just want to tell you guys that it's not impossible, okay? Because it's not something which you have to do, or it's not something that you get like worried about. And so okay, let me just go back to topic. But I hope I kind of get what I'm talking about, right? That it's like that's how I go about it. Now, talking about my demand and supply. Now, like I had mentioned, the marketing is a very important part, and supply. So, like I said, so why I brought all this up was because my supply was inconsistent. My consumers were not getting supply when they wanted to, and even now also when we do restock, we can actually have like consistent restocks because I'm done with college and I have a lot more time, and I'm able to give myself a lot more time to deal with the business. So I'm sure if you've seen articles and read things about entrepreneurs and stuff, you would see that they say, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 job, but now I'm working a 24/7 job. So yeah, it's kind of very, very true. So to give you a little bit of what my backstory as to how I made my supply more consistent, I had mentioned, right, why I had LOP and I had drama and I had extracurriculars and stuff. So what I did was that I had gone to college and I would finish up from 9 to 5. I mean, we had offline college, right? So I finished college from 7:30 in the morning and then come back at 6 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock in the evening, I would go and finish up my business operations. That was how my majority of my time spent. Finish college in the morning, come back in the evening, and do my business and stock up for the business. One day I would make all the slimes, and then in the weekend I would stock up and I would market it then and open the shop and close it after I get a considerable number of orders, and then again open the next week. That was kind of what my cycle was. And when it comes to any other work, then I would finish my work for the business one day in advance, and then the next day I'd probably have some theater club work or some extracurricular works. Then I would go ahead and do that. That was kind of how I had gone along with my flow of work. And once college should end up, when I had online classes and stuff, I was able to give more time to my business and basically hire 2-3 people to help me with my operations. Now, my business is not something, I'm sure if you would have seen these organizations and big drives and stuff where they hire interns, they go crazy hiring college kids. But my business is not like that. It's not an organization. It's kind of a product which is selling. So it's very important that people who you hire know what you're doing, and have done enough research, or you train them well enough that they could help you, because it's very easy for it to go wrong. Trust me when I say this, it's very easy. Where if you hire someone and they don't know what they're doing, or you haven't trained them properly, it's very easy for it to go wrong. And secondly, it's that the reason why we are able to keep this business going is because we have our secret formula, which we haven't given out to anyone. So that's also a big thing. We couldn't really hire anyone because we were always so scared that someone would come and look at a recipe and take it. Now, yeah, of course, they can sign a non-disclosure agreement and stuff, but at the same time, it's the brains behind the business. So why would you want to give up your formula? I think any entrepreneur you ask right now is like very, very important to keep your formula to yourself, because that's your baby, it's your thing. You can't be that disclosing it to anyone. KFC doesn't tell people their secret chicken recipe, do they? So yeah, that's how I wanted to tell you guys that that's how we've been improving our operation. So it's mostly me and a few, 2, 3 people who we've trained to help us with our packing and our logistics, and that's pretty much how my business flows right now. And coming to the product benefits and satisfaction. Now, the product benefits, like I had mentioned, it helps with one, not just toy benefits, but also helps with the older people and college kids play with it and get really. They can kind of calm down, and it has a very therapeutic value to the product because they all smell so good. Now, that's one. And secondly, the big part about benefits and satisfaction is that it has long shelf life. And the best part about the product is that you can't. Let me just show you. You can't get this anywhere because they're all different textures. That's what we've been doing. So one is butter slime. The other ones on the shelf there is clear slime, cloud slime, crunchy slime, bingsu slime. All these slimes are different varieties. So not one product doesn't give just one satisfaction. There's a whole range of what you get from each product, what kind of satisfaction you derive from each product. So that was because of innovation. You have to be innovative when you want to start a business. Be very, very sure as to one, if your product can have an innovative part of it. Some products don't, but some products are very, very easy to build on and develop on. And that's how you actually keep your market interested. So why does a consumer come back to you? One question people ask me is like, how many customers to come return back to you and buy your slimes? And I say, you know what? I've done the research of that, and there's around 63 to 70% people coming back. And that's a very good number because every time we have a restock, we're always coming out with new products and new textures. And then people get so excited, like, you know what, now I want that one. So, and new scents. And that's how we get our customers to come back. So a very key point, a very important point is innovation. And that's one thing which I wanted to kind of elaborate on. Innovation is good when you have an idea in mind, when you have a goal. So sometimes it doesn't work, but experimenting with the product is very important. It's not like I mentioned, it's not like I came up with this overnight, right? It's not like that. It took a lot of time to come up with the recipe and the slime. And the funny part is, this product is so whimsical. It's kind of like a very, how do I say, it's something which is not fixed in its way of wait, let me just think of what I want to say. Yeah, basically, it's not something which you can, when you add an ingredient to it, it will work. It's not like that. Suppose I add some random chemical product to it, it can melt the slime, make it hard, it can make it smelly. It's a very, very delicate product which you have in your hand. So if you are selling this, you have to really make sure that it's not toxic. And the second big part about this product is that I can't just add what I want and sell it. It's not like that. So that is one very big important aspect of my business, and I'm sure even any business you take, shoes, clothing, furniture, jewelry. What is it that you add to it which gives it the unique value, right? There are many jewelry shops, so why would I go to that jewelry shop, or why will I go to that sneaker shop? It's because the unique substance you add to it, and you just can't do what you want. You can't just randomly cut up shoes and say, hey, I'm selling cut up shoes, let's buy it. It doesn't work like that. So this is what I'm trying to come at, that you can't just overnight do something and sell it. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a clarity and a vision and a market analysis of what a product can do, and experiment. Experimenting is a very critical key to the business point of view. Now, coming to pricing point. Now, before I start this, I want to just ask you guys, does anyone know what marginal utility means? I'm sure if you don't, you can just if you do, you can just raise your hand and you can go ahead and talk. Yeah, go ahead, Pooja. Raise your hand. Okay, so it's fine if you don't want to talk, but yeah, basically marginal utility is a very important concept in economics where as consumers derive utility from a product, which means they derive a usage from a product, their utility will go down. So if you take a slice of pizza, your utility is maximum when you have the first slice, but when you have the second slice, you kind of saturated, so you won't be as hungry. By the third slice, you're done. For me at least, but you're done. By the third slice, I can't have any more. I'm done. And the third slice kind of gives you very less utility. So something like that is what I wanted to bring up right now. Thinking about these concepts are very important when you're doing a business point of view, because you also know that if a customer buys a product, why would they come back to that second product? They already have a pair of shoes. Why would I come back and buy another pair of shoes? So something is this kind of an idea when you go about your business, kind of keeping this idea in mind as to why you want them to come back to you and come give you business, is to be sure that you have a way to bring them back. So that's one thing. And keeping your marketing in check, every time you launch a new product. Yeah, Mohan, raise your hand. Yeah, go ahead, Mohan, want to talk? If you're talking, I can't hear you. Okay, I think you must have raised it by accident then. Okay, I just go ahead. Just stop me anytime you want, yeah? So that's one thing. And so you need to have a fixed marketing plan as to what you want to do and how to go about it. And trust me when I say that sales aren't always going to be consistent. So you can either have very big sales 1 month, and the next month you can be like next to zero. That's a very normal thing. Since it's something which you're studying, something which you're selling, having a huge market base 1 month and then the next month kind of dies down, you don't have the same marketing or the same consumer base, that is very normal. It's a very normal aspect in any entrepreneurship business, and I'm not saying it from just me. Any entrepreneur you meet or any talk you go to, they'll say the same thing. They'll say one day it's great and the next day it's kind of low. So that's something which is very, very common, and when you start out, it will happen. It's not going to be profits in the beginning. Like, it's not going to be like that. And I think even in economics, there's actually a concept called break even point. And break even is when your total cost of the company matches your revenue, and that's finally when your profits. And when your cost equals to your profit, that means you have no loss, and it's a break even point. But companies reaching a break even point take a long time. Some take 2 weeks to make profit, some take over 3 years, and it's always on the longer side. You don't roll in profits in the beginning because your investments are going to be huge in the beginning. You're going to make a lot of cost choices, you're going to make a lot of fixed cost choices. So stuff like that is going to happen in the beginning. So it's not going to be rolling in profits in the beginning. But as you go along and keep your product consistent with the market, you're able to achieve a point where you cross the break-even point and start actually making profits. Same like my products. It wasn't cash grab, because in the beginning I was selling my slimes for around 150 rupees for the box, and I was kind of undervaluing myself. I just didn't know who would buy it. I didn't do any analysis of the consumer base. I was just doing it for fun. So that's why I didn't really start out like with some big glamorous making money business mogul. It's not like that. I started very normally. I sold my slimes at one price, and I would get it, and I would just say, okay, you know what, this is great. Let me keep doing it. And that's when my mother came in and said, you know what, why are you undervaluing yourself? If you have a good product, you should be selling it at a cost where you know you benefit, and you're making yourself and your time worth it. Because one thing is that costing of a product is not just cost, not just raw material cost. It's also labor. Labor is a very important point, because people are sitting and making it, right? I'm sitting and making the slimes, mixing it and putting the scent and putting the charms, putting the add-ons. That takes time. So you also have to put your labor cost into it, and not to undervalue yourself, because that's really important in the long run. And at the same time, you can't go and price your product at a very high price, because then who's going to buy it? Demand is going to go down if your product is hugely priced. So, and also, we all love profits, right? Everyone loves profits, but you can't go crazy selling it at such a high price, because as much as you want to, and people will buy it, you're kind of shortchanging the customers. You're not giving them their value, right? If you're going to go crazy and sell a product for 1,000 rupees, then you're not really giving them their value of satisfaction. They might not get something out of it. So you have to keep that pricing point very, very, very clear, so that one, you don't undervalue yourself. Two, you don't overcharge the customer or shortchange them. Because they're not stupid. Consumers are not stupid. Okay, they're not going to be like, oh, I come back or I buy this. They're very smart people who know what they're buying. And if they don't see value in it, they will not come back. It's as simple as that. And all of us here have probably bought products from here and there, from businesses. And I am very sure that you guys do have an analysis. I mean, everybody does it. Everybody thinks about it. Will I get anything out of it? Is it worth it? Okay, then I'll go buy it. It's that mentality. And it's not a wrong mentality. It's a very smart thing to keep in mind, because you don't want to get cheated, right? So customers are not stupid. Okay, so they will know exactly if the product is worth it and if they come back to it. So you have to keep that in mind and not cheat anyone, not shortchange them, and keep that business flow in mind. But at the same time, if you're introducing new products, then and if you think that's a little higher price point and everything, then you definitely have to raise your price or keep it at the same equilibrium price to make sure it matches your customer. So that's a very important point. Reaching that equilibrium point is a very important concept in entrepreneurship. And coming to sales and sustainability, now the reason why I've been able to sustain the business is because, like I mentioned, my marketing has been consistent, and my sales have also been consistent, and my innovation has been, every month we keep innovating new products. So that's why people come back to us. And one important part about sustainability is to know what your consumers want. If you see your consumer not enjoying something, then you cap that. You don't sell that. If you see someone selling something, and it's going crazy, and people are just enjoying that one product in particular, then you start to increase your supply for that, because then that will really help your consumers. So consumer satisfaction is a very important thing in the long run as well. I'll give you guys an example. We have a slime called Cloud Slime in our shop, and I'll just bring it actually, just 1 second. So Right. So this is like a cloud slime in our shop, and it's a really nice slime because it's kind of like a stretchy and feathery dough slime, which can actually become clouds when you stretch it. And so this is what I was talking about. So this is actually scented coffee. This is a cold coffee slime, and this is scented coffee. So it's more for our adult range. So this slime is a great one. It's called cloud slime, and it's kind of a very, very hard slime to make. And we've taken almost 3 months to experiment with the recipe. But that slime, even though it's kind of on the higher price, it's the most expensive product in our range of slimes, it's still the most demanded because of its texture. That's the cool part, that even though it's such a hard slime to make, and it's a great slime, but it's really hard to make for us, and we spend a lot of time making it, and so we do have to price it at a higher point. These consumers don't go for the cheaper one. They always come and buy this one. So that's really surprising to understand. So that's not surprising. It's kind of more like, you understand that something which is so nice, and something which is actually like you can do that and back and forth, and I hope you guys can hear the folks. Yeah, stuff like this is giving a customer that much satisfaction that they're coming back and buying it again and again. Then imagine how good the product is, right? So that's what you need to keep in mind. If you see something is selling like a lot, and you know that the customers are coming back for it, then keep that product going. Keep innovating on that product, because that's very important for the customer to understand that your business is trustworthy. If I come there and buying it, I'm not getting shortchanged. I'm getting whatever is marketed. I'm getting exactly what's on that picture. I'm not getting duped. I'm getting the exact cloud slime, the cloud drizzles. So they come back wanting more. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And similarly, sustainability. I already mentioned that sustainability is the long run pricing, and the age range. Yes, the age range. So a lot of you might think, okay, slimes, so probably for 10-year-old kids, right? And it's a toy, right? But now I had mentioned in the beginning, like I had mentioned, that old parents, older people buy it, and parents buy it and stuff. This is what I want to talk about. Our consumer range is kind of is actually the most in the age range of 18 to 25-year-olds. That's kind of our biggest buyers right now, and that's because of its stress relief benefits, etc. So, um, taking a product which is a toy and trying to market it for all ranges is again a very challenging job, because you don't know. Some people, I mean, right now also, some people have a very misconception of what I'm selling. They're just like, slime, who's gonna buy that? So every time I come across a new person or someone and they say, hey, what do you do? I tell them about the business, and then there's a huge explanation as to, okay, if this is exactly what I told you guys in the talk. I say very fast in 5 minutes. I tell them all and brief them up as to why it's a product for all ages and why it's not a toy, and etc. So coming, that's a very kind of a very challenging aspect for me, because every time you come across someone, you have to keep explaining as to that whole misconception around the product and how it's not just for kids. So we also try to market along that, and on LinkedIn, we keep telling people that it's not, when we put our posts up or when we share our thoughts or write stuff about the product, we always mention, this is something we write, this is something which adults enjoy, and when adults actually buy it, that's the great part. They all review our slimes. When we sell them the slimes, they come back and say, I was so scared that this was a toy, but I bought it for myself because it looks so good, and then I was like, okay, this is amazing, now I'm going to buy more. So that's always one thing. They buy one and then they see that, okay, hey, it's for me too, and then they start to buy more and recommend our products to their other friends. So that's how we've been able to expand our age range, because we've seen that this provides a lot more therapeutic value. So if you're taking any product you're selling, so I'm just going to give you a random topic out of my head, like let's say you're selling scrunchies, and there are a lot of Instagram businesses selling scrunchies, but I've seen them do so many cool product innovations that they make cute bunny scrunchies for kids, they make very smart satin scrunchies for adults, and then they make a very thin one for like older women. So these kind of innovations go a long way, because you're bringing in customers from all ages, and it helps you a lot with your sales. So I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to see if anyone has any questions for me, because I think I've been talking. So I love it if someone has any questions, and just please unmute yourself and talk, and I would be happy to answer. Anyone has any questions?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. On initial days, how you did marketing, like door-to-door delivery, or
Wait.
how you made, and what platform?
1 second. Who's this?
This is Sudhakar.
Hi, Sudhakar. Okay,
Hi.
hi. So you want how I did my marketing initially, right? So initially it was just basically going around. First, when I was doing it for fun, I was just going around to people's doors and my friends, and I would just give it to them. And then when that became kind of financially and economically impossible, because you can't go around houses, that's when I started to use courier services in Chennai. I was just selling locally, and I was marketing on Instagram and social media, and that's how people kind of got out through word of mouth. My friends told their friends, who told their friends. We kind of went through word of mouth through my friends' circle and other college circles and stuff. So I started selling locally, and I was just supplying Chennai orders at the time. And I have my own website right now, so majority of my sales are done on my website, and probably 10% is done through small. I have like small stall setups around some fairs and markets sales and stuff. But during COVID times, I mean, it's not really viable to be selling slime kind of like in person. So we do everything is now done online. Our entire sales is done on my own website. We have our own website. So that's how we do our sales. And marketing initially was, I mean, sales was done first through our website, and then first we only did locally, and now we sell all over India. And our customers go wide range from Jaipur to Delhi to Punjab, is like all over. So we're able to supply now all over to um, India. So,
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting and nice to listen to you.
thank you so much. Anyone else has any other questions? You guys can always like answer. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Um, since you have been the you were able to get it around all over the world, all over India. Do you find any barrier of entry to get it overseas for your business?
Oh, so overseas we haven't explored as much because I feel like right now we still haven't finished it. Not finished. We still haven't been able to capitalize on the Indian market. Still, there's so many people right now who don't know the benefits of slimes and our products, and they still don't see the use of it. So then, when we finally show them and explain it to them, then they're able to understand. So right now, I'm trying to capitalize on the Indian market and try to expand my supply on India, and then I'll be thinking overseas, because right now I'm not really considering overseas as a option right now. So, but there's no barrier per se. If you're thinking like when we sell our slimes, right, we also have activator powders and stuff if we sell it. So we call it a toy and we're able to sell it. So there's no problems with barriers. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else have any questions? Like you can.
Hi, this is Abhinav Karthikeyan.
Hi, Abhinav. Hi.
Congratulations on becoming a slime entrepreneur. I just wanted to ask you this one question. You were mentioning about, you were 17 and then you had this idea of starting a slime business. What actually motivated your, if sometimes we all go down and at some point in life saying, yeah, this business is actually not going to work out, but what actually motivated you to push a little bit further into what you're doing right now?
So what made me go the extra mile? You're asking that?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Okay. So yeah, so like I mentioned in the beginning, it was not serious at all. And in the beginning, when I was in college and stuff, I had too many assignments and this and that I wasn't really able to focus on it. And you have to give your 100% into a business if you want to see it thrive. So in the beginning, I really didn't have that clarity, and I was just doing it. One day I'd come make it, and then I would get orders, and then I'd wait for 1 week to supply it. And then, of course, the consumers got very impatient. Customers aren't going to wait for 1 to 2 weeks for the products. They get so especially kids who are buying it. They place an order the next day. Hi, it hasn't come as yet. So that happens, right? No one's going to wait for you to supply. So since I could see in the beginning that there was no consistency in the business, there was no proper alignment, there was no proper revenue model for me. I was in college and I wasn't really able to focus on it. So when I found out that I was lacking a lot of things, I said, okay, enough is enough. It's not a business. You can't call it a business if you have customers waiting, if you don't know what your profit or loss statement is like, if you're just selling it for fun whenever you have time. It's not a business, right? So that's when I realized, you know what, stop doing that. Stop, get an idea in mind, keep your goal in mind, because when you have so many people coming after you and saying, hey, I want your products, and you just sitting there like, you're not doing it, not really focusing on it, that gives you that kind of push, that gives you that whole, okay, what are you doing? Come on, get your act together and start planning this properly, and basically to start furnishing this idea a lot better, because it's not working out right now. So when I was in third year, 2019 basically, before COVID, that's when I started to kind of try to streamline it. Even if I was in college and since it was online, I was still try to kind of spend 3-4 hours on it, get the orders, get the understanding of how the new products and everything, and then move on to my work. And then I'd finish my college work, go to the business work, and keep a very methodical process, because how I was going was not at all viable. It was not a smart idea, and it was just very lazy work. So that's what kind of gave me the extra push, that if there are people who want a product and not selling it, then what are you doing? So that's what kind of motivated me to become better. So it was also not like I'd say financially viable to just sit down and do it, because I was wasting lots of raw materials. So that's when I started to get my act together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Oh, I just see a question in the chat. Let me just see that. Oh yeah, that's a very nice question. Thank you, Makendra. That's a very nice question. We were actually approached by many investors, but let me just I didn't mention that. So since our formula is kind of a very protected formula, Fevicol Pidlite actually came to us asking for collaboration, and they wanted us to put slime kits in the market. And we were very excited. I was like, wow, okay, Fevicol, that's amazing. I get more publicity and I get more brand awareness. But at the end of the day, we realized that their deal was that they were going to take our formula, make slime kits, and then not tell us and like not keep our name in the kits. They would just keep their name and completely eradicate any of our names or any of our business names. So it's like we were just like so confused that why would they want that? And then we realized that so many people do this. Even IIT Madras, a few professors actually approached us because they wanted our slime recipe to make tactile books. And these tactile books are basically if you don't know what tactile books are, they're basically for the visually impaired, where kids who cannot see, they can feel books of shapes, and then they can see, okay, they're touching a circle, they're touching a square, they're touching a rectangle. So that's called Tactile Books, and they wanted our recipe for that. And again, they wanted to give us no credit. They just wanted to take the recipe, and that's it. So in the beginning itself, we saw that so many people were just trying to use us for their own personal gain, and especially big companies. So that's when we decided to, be very careful with who we talk to and who we just lightly tell our business and who we lightly talk about. It's a very, very closed up formula. And if to answer the second question, is the formula patented? It's kind of in the process. Patents take a very long time, so it's in the process. But our company is registered, so it's it's like a TM on the company. So it's right now it's fine, but patents do take a long time, so that will take a long process. But coming to investors, yeah, many investors actually have approached us. But think about it. All of you seen Shark Tank, right? When they go and approach investors, what do investors ask for? 25% of the company, right? So my business is too small at this point to be asking investors to come in, because they will take a huge chunk they will ask for a huge share or a huge chunk of the business, and that's just not. It doesn't help us in any way. And we already have enough funds, since we've already been going for a while, and we have enough a good profit statement. We have enough funds to basically back ourselves up and expand. So right now we don't need investors. So people have approached us, but it's just too small right now. Our operations are just too small scale to be talking about an investor right now. But maybe in the long run, when people do approach us, we'll see. But right now it's not. No, we haven't really accepted any investors offers. So yeah. Anyone else?
Hi, Avi, Pooja here.
Hi, Pooja. You want to ask something?
Avi, you said like you started your business when you were in your second year, right?
First
Second
year,
year
yeah.
of your college. Yeah. So like those days and all, I mean like 4 years back and all, I myself started using Instagram when I was during this COVID times, and that is when I found like many small business and all. I saw people started selling scrunchies, bakes, their baked items and all. Since I'm from a very remote village where people don't use Instagram and all, they find, so if I want to become an entrepreneur, if I want to do something, like at first days, at initial days, how did you do your marketing and how did you started selling your product?
It's actually a very good question. Thank you so much, Pooja. It's a very good question. How do you market in places where Instagram is not used? No, it's a very important question. I think everybody has to think about that, because the majority of sales which people do is through Instagram and social media. And it's a very smart question as to how to tackle people who don't have that access to that platforms. Now, initially, when we didn't, even our Instagram also was not the only way we sold. It was also, like I had mentioned, it was word of mouth. A lot of friends who bought our slimes told their friends and told their circle of friends. It kind of got out through word of mouth and people telling other people. So that's how they came to us, and they opened Instagram and, okay, let me go buy from her. But at the same time, since our product, also think about it, our product is not something, like a lot of people would ask me, how do you go retail? Like, why don't you go retail for your slimes? Now, one important thing to think about is that a product is like a perishable good, right? It's not something which will stay for after 6-7 months. It will kind of, its shelf life will go. I mean, it's kind of like a temporary product, so you can't keep it for like 3-4 years, because it's not what the product does. It gives you a satisfaction for a temporary amount of period, and then after 6-7 months, there are different ways to reuse. I'll come to that later. We can reuse this product as well, but I'll come to that later. Right now, the satisfaction which it gives the consumer is 7 to 8 months, and so you get a very good long-lasting shelf life from there, instead of 1-2 days. But the important part is to realize is that this product can't be sold retail if it's not taken well care of. We can only sell retail if it has a. I mean, we can sell retail. Don't get me wrong. We do want to go into retail, but at the same time, experimentation has to be done to that so it doesn't melt, because at the end of the day, it is glue, right? So it can't melt, and so it has to make sure that it keeps the same temperature. It smells the same way as how we package it. It doesn't. It's not old, and it's a new product we're giving to the customer. But in retail, when you do it online, and customers give me the orders, I send their slimes right away. So they're getting a fresh product right away. But in retail, you can't be promised that. You don't know what these people in this shopkeepers do. They might sell a 30-day-old product or something which is 1 month old. And maybe for shoes or for something which is inelastic, something which is not perishable, then it's a normal thing to do. But then for something like my product, then you have to be careful as to what where you're selling and how to experiment on that. So that's why Pooja had mentioned that how come you didn't go, like how you didn't, why you didn't sell outside Instagram or online, is because of this whole fact. And that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to overcome this problem, and so that we can even be available in person, in stores, so that people could buy from us. And a very important part also, I think this is a more important concept than what I just mentioned, is that store managers and retail managers do not take, if you're selling a product at some price, they will always ask you to go much lower. If you're selling wholesale, they will not ask you for your products at that point. They'll be like, hey, I'm taking bulk orders, so can you please reduce the price? And because they have to make their profits, right? Retail managers and store managers have to make their profits. They're not going to buy your slimes or your products at the market price. They're going to ask you to reduce it a lot lower for them, so they can sell it at a price of their convenience and reap the profits. So that was very inefficient for us, because why would I want to give when I have my own website and it's selling well, why would I want to make a loss when I go retail? And well, I had this question a lot. I had this thought in my mind for a long time, and that's when I spoke to a few economic professors, and they told me that no, Avi, you can't think like that. You need to understand that when you go retail, when any business starts, you will not keep making a profit, like I had mentioned. It's not going to be that, okay, because you're going retail and you're making a loss there, it's a bad thing. You don't undervalue yourself, don't sell it at a very low price. But at the same time, you can't expect to be selling a huge price to store managers, because they're not going to buy it. So you have to also keep in mind that if you do go retail or something, you will have some losses, and that's totally fine. But build to that point where you can accommodate these losses. And when it comes to outside Instagram, outside social media, there's also stalls and fairs, and also events and collaborations which we do, so that we can also get our slime and our company brand out. So yeah. Also, I feel like all of you must have seen it. Everybody in India is moving towards an online platform right now. I think before COVID it was not very evident, but right now everyone's kind of online. Everyone's kind of going towards that idea of buying stuff online instead of going to a mall and buying it. How many of you have actually said, let me go buy it in the mall? Just like, I look at it and then I just go buy it online. Just go Amazon. Like that, So that's what I want to just touch on. Thank you for the question, though. I hope I answered it.
Yes, sir.
You're
amazing.
Thank you so much. And if you, right now I spoke more about the business point of it. If you guys want to know more of my backstory, you can always go on YouTube and check out my TEDx talk I had given recently. Just type Avi Natesan and you can learn more about my backstory. I didn't have much time to cover it in this session, but you can always go see in detail as to how I came up with my business idea. And any more questions anyone has, I'd be happy to answer it.
Hi Avi, this is Vineet.
Hi Vineet.
How do you plan for the future of the business?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So what I plan to do first is I had mentioned just right now, no, that the product has a small shelf life, a short shelf life, but at the same time we can actually reuse the products a lot. But we can actually reuse our products even after they dried up. We've come up with ways to reuse our products, and we've come up with ways to make sure the slime is there, even if it's not giving the same satisfaction. You can use it for a different purpose, which is what we've been trying to do right now. And secondly, for the future, we definitely want to grow bigger and scale up our business operations once we have a stable process flow and better, more of an idea. Then we can we can kind of streamline the business so that we can grow faster. Secondly, we definitely want to go online on Amazon and stuff so people can get more of a reach, basically find about us and basically discover or explore our business more than just Instagram. And thirdly, we also do want to go retail. That's a very, like I had mentioned, retail is a very, we do want to do retail, but again, it's a very tedious process and you have to be very careful because, retail stores has their own policy. They're not going to, retail stores, any other vendors, they have their own terms and conditions. So you have to make sure that, again, it aligns to that term of interest. So in the future, we do plan to introduce more products. And also, slime actually has become very relevant in the educational field because, like I mentioned, many college kids are buying our slimes when they study. So they have their, their online classes open and they're studying and they're writing and they're holding our slimes. So we're also expanding into the educational field where you can use our slimes while you study. So that's one aspect. And then there's another aspect which we're going on about, which I'm kind of keeping under wraps, which we haven't told anyone about as yet. So yeah. You'll find out soon. So Vineet, I hope that
Guys, any other questions? I think it's over. Participants kindly fill a Google form posted in the chat box. Thank you, Avi Natesan, for taking time amidst your busy schedule, and your journey to an entrepreneur and has definitely inspired many. Also, special thanks to Dr. Arun Prakash, faculty in charge, SSN Laksaya. We also kindly have our second session in afternoon from 1 to 2:30. Kindly join the webinar. Meeting link and other details will be mailed soon.
thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming and listening. I had a great time. So yeah.
Thank you.
And if you guys have any other questions, you can always ask me on Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm Avinat, so you can always just DM me or and I'll be happy to talk to you guys if you have any other questions or doubts. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Avinat.
Thank you.
Venkat, what about the Google Sheet?
Sir, I have sent the Google Sheet link in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, okay.